Among their many benefits, battery-powered industrial vehicles are more economical than their fuel-burning counterparts, using electricity to run rather than higher-priced and irreplaceable fossil fuels. They last longer and are easier to maintain because they have fewer moving parts. They're quiet and they don't give off exhaust fumes. All this makes them more environmentally sound than fuel-burning vehicles. One key to taking full advantage of the economies and working benefits of electric vehicles is an understanding of the proper maintenance of the motive power batteries that power them. First, there are a few points of safety to keep in mind when handling a lead-acid battery. Remember that a battery is electrically live at all times. To avoid shock, it's recommended that you remove all jewelry when you're working with a battery. Don't lay metal objects on top of the battery and insulate battery work tools. Always keep the top of the battery clean and dry. Every battery gives off hydrogen and oxygen during recharging as the water is broken down. This is called gassing, which occurs during the last 20% of a normal charging cycle. Hydrogen is odorless and colorless, and by itself is not harmful, but it's a required safe practice to keep hydrogen concentrations below 1% of the total room volume. Do not smoke, use an open flame, or create arcs or sparks in the vicinity of a battery. Explosion can result from battery gases. Make sure batteries are stored and charged in an approved and ventilated charging area. If equipped, raise the cover of the battery or compartment during charging for maximum ventilation. Batteries also contain dilute sulfuric acid, called electrolyte, which can cause severe burns. However, the electrolyte in batteries will not normally cause harm, though it is a good practice to avoid contact and wear proper personal protective equipment. In case of contact, flush the area immediately with clean water for at least 15 minutes and obtain medical attention if eyes are affected. Before handling batteries, personnel should be properly trained. Always wear appropriate personal protective equipment, especially gloves, a face shield, steel-toed shoes, and a rubber apron. When handling batteries, make sure vent caps and intercell connector covers are in place and tightly sealed. Inspect cables for fraying or loose casing. If you find an exposed cable, immediately call a qualified Enersys technician for repair or replacement. When you first receive your battery, inspect all shipping materials thoroughly and report actual or suspected damage to the carrier. After passing inspection, give the battery an equalizing charge. For flooded batteries, check the electrolyte level immediately afterwards. Water should be added during the gassing phase of a charge cycle or as soon after charging as possible. To help ensure long life, a regular routine of watering your battery must be established. Most often this is once a week, but depending on use, it could be once a month or even once a quarter. Use only approved water, that is, water that has been distilled, deionized, or demineralized. Only use local water if it has been tested and approved for batteries. Check water levels by removing vent caps from a few cells. It is only necessary to remove all the vent caps when it is time for watering. An electrolyte level monitor is a useful tool to help determine when watering is needed. The monitor light indicates when the water levels are correct. Maintaining proper water level is very important. Overfilling can cause overflow, resulting in the loss of electrolyte, tray corrosion, and ground paths. This can shorten battery runtime by up to 10% or cause permanent damage. Underfilling can dry out a battery plate. Either way, battery capacity is lowered. A watering gun is a useful tool for this job as it fills to a pre-selected height and automatically shuts off. Automatic watering systems that can fill a battery in seconds are also available. These systems dramatically reduce watering time. Ask your Enersys representative about installing a single-point watering system on your batteries. Next to watering, proper charging practices are most essential to maintaining battery capacity and life. When discharging, do not discharge the battery more than 80% of its rated capacity. Over-discharging can have harmful effects on the battery or vehicle. Over-discharge can be avoided by installing an approved lift interrupt or fuel gauge on the vehicle. This gives a constant readout of the battery's condition and locks out lift mechanisms as the battery approaches 80% depth of discharge. These lift interrupts need to be checked annually for accuracy. Battery charging should be done with an electronically controlled charger. Operator intervention should not be necessary. In this case, we're using a fully automatic charger. Be sure the charger is connected to the battery, not the truck. When unplugging, never use the cables to open the charging connectors. If there appears to be a problem with the charger, notify a qualified Enersys technician. The end of charge temperature should be kept below 120 degrees Fahrenheit if possible to achieve expected battery life. Consistent under or overcharging will contribute to internal battery problems and cause a loss of capacity and reduction of life. Make sure your battery is not charged more often than once a day unless approved by Enersys. No amount of overcharging will increase battery capacity. Make sure to follow all charging instructions in the manufacturer's guidelines. It is necessary to bring a battery to full charge to avoid excess sulfation. However, excessive overcharging must also be avoided. This is why it is important to give an equalizing charge on a weekly basis. An equalized charge is an additional 3 to 8 hours of charging following a complete charge cycle. Most chargers today will automatically equalize a battery, but some older chargers may require you to manually start the equalized charge. You can find instructions on frequency of equalizing charges listed in your manufacturer's guidelines. When installing a battery, keep in mind that the vehicle's battery compartment should be well ventilated and designed to keep out water, dirt, oil, and other matter. The battery should fit within 1/2 inch of the compartment's footprint. For lifting or removal of a battery, always use an adjustable lifting beam, which exerts only a vertical pull on the lifting tabs. The beam must be electrically insulated, or the exposed metal components of the battery must be temporarily covered with insulating materials such as plywood or thick rubber to reduce the risk of short circuit from a chain or a hook. You should have safety latches on all hooks. To install a battery using a lifting beam, first insert the lifting hooks into the holes in the battery casing. Ensure the hooks are set at the same width as the lift holes. Take extra precaution with this procedure. Keep fingers away from the lifting holes during this process. A safe practice is to keep your free hand on top of the lifting beam. After checking that each hook is completely engaged in the lifting holes, make sure that the overhead crane is directly above the battery. This will ensure a vertical pull on the battery. Any other positioning could result in the battery swinging as the crane lifts it. Using the crane, lift the battery and guide it toward the lift truck. Align the battery with the battery compartment in the lift truck and then slide the battery in using the crane. Lower the battery and disengage the hooks. Then reconnect the battery to the truck. We recommend only using a beam with safety latches on the hooks. Safety latches provide extra protection against the hooks accidentally dislodging while lifting the battery. The hooks are designed to fit into most sizes or types of batteries. Overall, this is a very safe, easy to use, and durable lifting beam. A second way to change a battery is the transfer cart method, where the battery compartment has rollers or glide strips, and the battery rolls out onto the transfer cart. The battery is then moved to a charging stand. Similarly, the charged battery is rolled off the charging rack and reconnected to the lift truck. Keep in mind that a typical lift truck battery weighs 2,000 pounds, so always use the proper lifting and handling equipment. If you have a large population of batteries or minimal floor space, a side extraction system may be right for you. From a small single level changer to a multiple level changer like this, side extraction methods are safe, cost efficient, and time savers. Just like a transfer cart, batteries are removed from the vehicle onto a roller bed. The operator then places the battery into an appropriate charging slot and returns a fully charged battery to the vehicle. A charger management system utilizing the first in, first out principle may reduce the amount of batteries needed. There are a few service items that will extend your battery's life, including making sure your charger returns the battery to full charge by checking the specific gravity once a month. Full charge gravity is affected by such variables as temperature, battery age, and acid level. The full charge gravity of a battery is specified on its nameplate. When acid is lost through overfilling and spillage, runtime will be reduced. Remember, you should only add water to a battery, never acid. Keep vent plugs in place and make sure the connectors are not damaged. Broken connectors can short out, causing sparking and burns. Don't disconnect the battery from the charger or the truck by pulling on the cables. Never unplug a running charger. This can cause an explosion and ruin the connector. Hot working conditions can adversely affect battery life. Keep batteries as cool and dry as possible. Always allow a battery to cool down after charging. Like hot environments, cold conditions have an adverse effect on battery life. If you operate in a cold environment, you will get less runtime from your battery. Operating performance may be up to 40% lower in freezers and other cold surroundings. Always use a larger capacity battery and charge in a warm area after allowing the battery to warm up. Try to maintain an internal battery temperature of 77 degrees Fahrenheit for maximum life and productivity. Talk to your Enersys representative to make sure chargers are properly matched or adjusted for cold temperature operations. To get the best life at runtime from your batteries, never take one off charge before it's finished charging. Always try to use the battery that has been off charged the longest first. If your company uses the rotation system, always follow the right direction for the next battery choice. Batteries need to be checked regularly for cleanliness. Vented or spilled acid does not dry. It causes corrosion and shorting, not to mention it's hard on your clothes. It's good practice to wash batteries when they get dirty. This is typically needed once or twice a year. You can clean the batteries with Enersys Pro Wash or a baking soda solution. Wash water should be managed in accordance with federal, state, and local environmental regulations. If you can't or don't want to do battery washing, Enersys can provide on-site battery washing for you. In case of a liquid spill, always assume the liquid is electrolyte. Use protective equipment and stop the spill flow with bicarbonate of soda or some other neutralizing agent. Always put spill residue into compatible containers. Be sure to manage any material generated from a spill cleanup in accordance with local, state, and federal environmental regulations. Enersys offers many products to help you effectively deal with electrolyte spills. Spent batteries should be packaged and shipped like new batteries when they are sent to a secondary lead smelter for recycling. Spent lead-acid batteries should only be recycled at permitted secondary lead smelters. For recycling locations, check your manual or call 1-800-ENERSYS. Motive power batteries are a safe, clean source of energy. They will provide many years of useful service if proper maintenance procedures and safety precautions are followed. Enersys can help you with all of your battery, charger, and service needs. We also design and install turnkey battery and charging systems. Enersys offers preventative maintenance programs for all of your battery and charger systems. For information on any of these services or any of the products seen on this video, contact your local Enersys representative or call 1-800-ENERSYS.